1. Be yourself, everyone else is already taken. 2. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. 3. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. 4. I can resist everything except temptation. 5. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. 6. True friends stab you in the front. 7. Art is the most intense mode of individualism that the world has known. 8. I am so clever that sometimes I don't understand a single word of what I am saying. 9. The world was my oyster, but I used the wrong fork. 10. Whenever a man does a thoroughly stupid thing, it is always from the noblest motives. 11. It seems to me that we all look at nature too much, and live with her too little. 12. Always forgive your enemies, nothing annoys them so much. 13. Laughter is not at all a bad beginning for a friendship, and it is far the best ending for one. 14. Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions, their lives a mimicry, their passions a quotation. 15. I like men who have a future and women who have a past. 16. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read in the train. 17. Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. 18. Of course America had often been discovered before Columbus, but it had always been hushed up. 19. I put all my genius into my life, I put only my talent into my works. 20. Experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. 21. Fashion is a form of ugliness, so intolerable that we have to alter it every 6 months. 22. A cynic is a man who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. 23. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. 24. I don't want to go to heaven. None of my friends are there. 25. With freedom, books, flowers, and the moon, who could not be happy? A lesson to be learned. Me. Oscar Wilde seemed to be a bit too sure of himself, as if no one could touch him. But made a mistake in the end, in the courts. AIE. You've hit the nail on the head. Oscar Wilde's greatest tragedy was that he began to believe his own dialogue. He thought his wit was a literal shield that made him invincible. The mistake you're referring to is one of the most famous backfires in legal history. It wasn't just a legal error, it was a total collapse of the Wilde persona. The setup, pride before the fall. Wilde was at the height of his fame when he sued the Marquis of Queensberry, the father of Wilde's lover, Lord Alfred Bosie Douglas, for libel. The Marquis had left a calling card at Wilde's club, calling him a sodomite. He misspelled the word sodomite. Against the advice of his friends, Wilde took him to court. He thought he could simply outwit the jury. The mistake that cost him everything. During the trial, the opposing lawyer, Edward Carson, was grilling Wilde about his relationships with various young men. Wilde was winning the crowd over with his usual brilliance until this exchange happened. Carson, did you ever kiss Walter Granger? Wilde, with a smirk. Oh, dear no. He was a peculiarly plain boy. He was, unfortunately, extremely ugly. I pitied him for it. The courtroom went silent. Why, it was fatal. Up until that moment, Wilde's defense was that his interest in these young men was artistic and intellectual. By saying he didn't kiss the boy because he was ugly, he accidentally admitted that he would have kissed him if he had been handsome. In one sentence, he dropped his shield and handed his enemies the sword. The aftermath. The libel case was dropped, and the evidence uncovered was used to arrest Wilde for gross indecency. He was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor. The man who once said, "I put all my genius into my life," found that the world wasn't quite ready for a genius who lived outside its rules. He went from being the most celebrated man in London to a bankrupt exile in Paris in just a few months. The final bit of wit. Even in his downfall, he couldn't help himself. While being transported to prison in the pouring rain, handcuffed and surrounded by a jeering mob, he turned to a guard and said, "If this is how Her Majesty treats her prisoners, she doesn't deserve to have any." It's a heartbreaking story of a man who was too clever for his own good.